What up, Raffleators? Welcome back to my channel. We are on the Kitty train line. That's looking north towards the seawall. All of these trucks are parked on what is now a newly built train line parking lot. What I want to do is to show you what has happened since the last time we were in this neck of the woods. This is a vest pocket park. This is what Robert Moses built in New York City and called vest pocket parks because they were these tiny parks that he scattered around the city. And this is, of course, a similar idea. It's a tiny park here in Queens, here in Kitty. All the garbage on the sidewalk. This sidewalk is actually newly built too, like about a month or two ago. But the last time we were here, they had built a fence around this center median between the two halves of this road, and I didn't know what they were doing until now. It seems as if they were building this vest pocket park. They've put in some concrete benches, and let's see if you can walk inside. It still, of course, hasn't been cleaned up. They haven't put on the gates yet, so I'm assuming that this is not the final version. This is intermediate. But as you can see, they've put in some litter baskets, bins, and they've put in these benches. And I think they're going to put in some children's playground equipment, which I can already see in the other section. There are no gates. I don't know if that is a omission or if that's part of the plan, but here they are, the new benches. There is a little seesaw, teeter-totter, as the Americans would call them, and
distance 4 miles. Duration 1 hour 45 minutes 18 seconds. Pace 25 minutes 49 seconds per mile.
And swings, a pair of swings, and a little slide. However, whoever is doing this job has not paid attention to the surface. They should have at least graded the surface to make it smooth and then planted some kind of winter grass or lawn grass here so that it can provide a safe surface for kids to play. As it is, it's just construction material, pieces of rocks and stone and cement on the ground on a rather unlevel piece of property. And that's the problem. There is no attention to detail, no attention to quality, and it really is frustrating because to me and you this would appear to be quite obvious that if you're going to build a park for children, then the number one priority is safety. And the first thing you want to do is to make sure that people don't get injured, kids don't get injured with falling on rocks or falling on pieces of steel, rusty construction material, and so on, broken glass. You would think that that would be obvious to the people who are doing the construction, and they would take pride in building a park that is safe, but somehow that does not happen in Guyana. It's the strangest thing I tell you, that these observations that I think are quite obvious doesn't seem to catch the attention of the people doing the construction here, and there's nobody who is responsible for quality control to check on the work to make sure it's completed to a high standard. gonna have all these people arguing with me about PPP and PNC and Burnham, just because I pointed out that the quality of what is being constructed in Guyana does not meet international standards. Anyway, we're going to continue to demand better. This, I think, I thought it was a bad idea at the beginning because I thought they were going to build a high-speed road, multiple 4-lane highway all the way to the train line road, connecting the train line road to downtown. It turns out that they have different ideas, and they decided to put a parking lot and a park on one half of the road. I think it's rather visionless. We could have been building a efficient road network in the city, but instead we have this, a place to park broken equipment and vehicles and garbage. That is the current vision that is driving the country. Unfortunately, none of this is going to change until a new generation takes over leadership of the country, and the people who have been trained or programmed under the Burnham and Jagani era have left this stage. But that's what's up, guys. That's what's happening in this neck of the woods. The latest from Kitty and the new train line embankment construction work. They've put in sidewalk. Some of the sidewalk is already beginning to fall apart, but then of course that was never the intention, to maintain the work. They've put in some street lights, and they've made what is now called the park, the Lama Park, along the Lama embankment. That is where the old train line ran all the way to Water Street, and we've seen that in previous videos. There's a helicopter passing overhead there. It's probably one of the GDF and a Defense Force aircrafts going to land at Camp Ghana, which is just a couple of blocks away. But yes, guys, so this is what is happening here in Kitty in Georgetown, Guyana. If you want to see more content like this, click like and subscribe. Share this video with friends and family around the world. Let people know what's happening here in the fastest growing economy in the world. Like I said, I would choose a different path for development and developing the city, given the trends in modern cities around the world. These ideas for development seem rather ancient, like they belong in the early 20th century, the 1920s and the 1930s. However, it's all political decisions. These decisions are being made by politicians, not by urban planners or technocrats or experts in urban planning. And for that reason, it does not make sense to a lot of our intelligent people in society. For example, this, which is now a straight park all the way down to the end of at Water Street. This could have been a rebuilding of the train line. Good morning. A rebuilding of the metro system, like a Georgetown metro that connects the city center with the coast. A train that would run all along the coast, just like it did in the 1950s. The 1950s and 1960s, up until I think the late 1960s, there was a train that ran along this train line. along this route. And you would think that given the potential for growth in the city, that's the new Lama Street that was rebuilt recently. It's now one of the busiest streets in the city. Yes, given the potential for growth, economic and population growth, that the first thing that would come to mind was to rebuild mass transit. Maybe put a monorail or a light rail along this route. However, that is not what the political decision makers in this country have in mind. So it will take the next generation of leaders to restore Guyana and Georgetown to a more efficient city with efficient transportation options. But that's what's up, guys. That's what's happening in this neck of the woods. This is the Lama Street embankment, and we're now at St. Road. Almost where we started. On the next street over that is Wolford Avenue. We started at Wolford Avenue where we looked at the fire that destroyed Critchlow Labour College. And down this way there is the new Papa John's. Alright, the new Papa John's is just up the street here. You can see it. So, yeah, that's the new Papa John's pizza place. And this is St. Road. But that's it, guys. That's what's happening in this neck of the woods. If you want to see more content like this, click like and subscribe. Share this video with friends and family around the world. Let people know what's happening on a Monday morning here in Georgetown, Guyana. Later.